In the lush, verdant lands of southeastern Nigeria, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, lay the small village of Muri. To the casual observer, Muri appeared like any other rural Igbo settlement. Thatched roof huts dotted the landscape, children played in dusty courtyards, and the air was filled with the aroma of cooking fires and the gentle hum of daily life. Yet, unbeknownst to most, Muri harbored a secret that would soon shake the very foundations of the community. At the heart of this secret was a young woman named Amara, with skin the color of rich, dark honey and eyes that seemed to hold the depths of the nearby river. Amara was a striking figure. Yet, it wasn't her beauty that set her apart from the other villagers. It was the air of mystery that clung to her like a second skin. Amara lived alone in a small hut at the edge of the village, closest to the wide meandering river that provided life to the region. The villagers knew her as an orphan, her parents having died years ago under circumstances that were never fully explained. She kept to herself, rarely engaging in the vibrant social life that was typical of Igbo communities. Every morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon and painted the sky in hues of pink and gold, Amara would emerge from her hut. She'd make her way to the village market, a woven basket balanced expertly on her head, filled with an assortment of fruits, mangoes, oranges, and guavas that always seemed fresher and more vibrant than those of the other vendors. "Biko, would you like to buy some fruit?" Amara would ask softly, her voice barely rising above a whisper. Most of the villagers would hurry past, avoiding her gaze, but a few would stop to purchase her wares, unable to resist the quality of her produce. One such customer was Chidi, a kind-hearted young man who had recently returned to Muri after completing his studies in the city. Unlike the others, Chidi saw past the rumors and whispers that surrounded Amara. He made a point to visit her stall every market day, purchasing fruit and attempting to engage her in conversation. "Amara, how are you today?" Chidi asked one particularly warm morning, his friendly smile unwavering in the face of Amara's usual reticence. Amara looked up, surprise flickering in her eyes at the genuine warmth in Chidi's voice. "I am well, thank you," she replied softly, a small smile tugging at the corners of her lips. Chidi's persistent kindness had begun to chip away at the walls Amara had built around herself. Though she remained guarded, she found herself looking forward to his visits, a spark of friendship kindling between them. However, not everyone in Muri shared Chidi's open-mindedness. The village elders, led by the stern-faced Obiora, viewed Amara with suspicion and distrust. They couldn't understand why a young woman would choose to live such a solitary life, and her uncommon beauty and the inexplicable freshness of her fruits only added fuel to their speculations. "There's something not right about that girl," Obior would mutter during council meetings, his weathered hands gripping his walking stick tightly. "No one can live that way, with no family, no friends. It's not natural." The other elders would nod in agreement, their own suspicions reinforced by Obiora's words. They began to watch Amara more closely, noting her comings and goings, trying to piece together the puzzle that was her existence. What the elders didn't know, what no one in Muri knew, was that Amara's life on land was only half of her story. For when night fell and the village was shrouded in darkness, Amara's true nature emerged. As the last embers of the cooking fires died out and the villagers retreated to their huts for the night, Amara would slip out of her home. With practiced stealth, she would make her way to the river, her bare feet silent on the well-worn path. At the water's edge, Amara would pause, lifting her face to the star-studded sky. Then, without hesitation, she would step into the cool embrace of the river. As the water enveloped her, a remarkable transformation would take place. Her legs would fuse together, scales of iridescent blue and green replacing smooth skin. Her hair, usually bound in a simple braid, would flow free, seeming to merge with the water around her. In moments, where once stood a quiet, unassuming village girl, now swam a breathtaking mermaid princess. This was Amara's true form, her heritage as the daughter of the River King and Queen. With a powerful flick of her tail, Amara would dive deep into the river, navigating the underwater currents with practiced ease. She swam through hidden caverns and past schools of brightly colored fish, making her way to the underwater palace that was her true home. The palace was a marvel of nature and magic combined. Coral formations created intricate spires and arches, their natural beauty enhanced by pearls and precious gems. Bioluminescent algae provided a soft, ethereal light, turning the entire structure into a glowing beacon in the depths of the river. As Amara approached, two guards, their own tails a deep green, bowed low. "Welcome home, princess," they intoned, their voices carrying clearly through the water. Inside the palace, Amara was greeted by her parents, King Oloda and Queen Adana. Unlike their daughter, who spent her days on land, the king and queen were permanent residents of the underwater realm, ruling over a kingdom of merfolk unknown to the surface dwellers. "Enwa, Queen Adana said warmly, embracing her daughter. "How was your day among the humans?" Amara sighed, sinking into her mother's arms. "It was lonely, as always," she admitted. "But necessary. You know I must maintain my presence in Muri." King Olaudah nodded gravely, his crown of coral and pearls glinting in the soft light. "We understand, Amara. Your role as a bridge between our two worlds is crucial. But never forget, you always have a home here with us." Amara spent her nights in the underwater palace, reveling in the love of her parents and the companionship of her fellow merfolk. Here, she could be her true self, free from the constraints and suspicions of the surface world. Yet, as dawn approached, she knew she must return to her life on land. As Amara prepared to leave, Queen Adana pulled her aside. "Amara, I sense a change coming," she said, her voice tinged with concern. "Be cautious. The humans are growing more curious about you." Amara nodded, a flicker of worry crossing her face. "I will, Mother. I promise." With a final embrace, Amara left the underwater palace, racing against the approaching dawn. As she broke the surface of the river, the first rays of sunlight were just beginning to paint the sky. With a shimmer of magic, her tail transformed back into legs, and she hurried to her hut, slipping inside just as the village began to stir. As Amara prepared for another day of selling fruit in the market, she was unaware that her two worlds were about to collide in ways she could never have imagined. The elders of Muri, driven by their suspicions, were preparing to uncover the truth about the mysterious young woman who lived at the edge of their village. And as a shadow of famine loomed over Muri, Amara would soon be forced to choose between her two lives, with the fate of an entire village hanging in the balance. Little did Amara know that this day would mark the beginning of a journey that would test her loyalties, challenge her identity, and ultimately reveal the true power of compassion and understanding. As she stepped out of her hut, basket of fruit balanced on her head, The wheels of fate had already been set in motion, promising to transform not just Amara's life, but the entire village of Muri. The sun climbed higher in the sky, its heat beating down on the village of Muri with an intensity that seemed to sap the energy from everything it touched. In the village square, beneath the sprawling branches of an ancient Iroko tree, the council of elders had gathered for an urgent meeting. Obiora, the head of the council, leaned heavily on his intricately carved walking stick as he addressed his peers. His voice, though softened by age, still carried the weight of authority. "My brothers," he began, his eyes narrowing as he spoke, "we can no longer ignore the strangeness that surrounds Amara. It is time we take action." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the group. Ekene, the second eldest, nodded vigorously. "Indeed, Obiora, the girl has lived among us for years, yet we know nothing of her. She shuns our company, keeps to herself. It is not natural." "And her fruits," added Namdi, the youngest of the elders. "Have you noticed how they always seem fresher, more vibrant than any others in the market? Even in times of drought, her produce flourishes. It defies explanation." Obiora held up a hand, silencing the group. "These are all valid concerns, but mere suspicion is not enough. We need proof. I propose we assign someone to watch Amara to uncover the truth about her comings and goings." The elders exchanged glances, weighing the proposal. It was Adaku, the only woman among them, who finally spoke up. "And who do you suggest for this task, Obiora?" "It would need to be someone Amara wouldn't suspect." A slow smile spread across Obiora's weathered face. "I believe I have the perfect candidate. Chidi, the young man who recently returned from his studies. He has shown an interest in Amara, has he not? She may be more likely to let her guard down around him." The suggestion was met with nods of approval. Unbeknownst to them, Chidi had been passing by the square and had overheard parts of their conversation. His brow furrowed with concern as he quickened his pace, heading towards the market where he knew Amara would be setting up her stall. Meanwhile, Amara was arranging her fruits, her nimble fingers sorting through mangoes, guavas, and oranges with practiced ease. As always, she kept to herself, her eyes downcast, avoiding the curious and often suspicious gazes of the other vendors. "Amara!" Chidi's voice cut through the bustle of the market. She looked up, a small smile tugging at her lips as she saw him approaching. "Good morning, Chidi," she said softly, her voice barely audible above the market's din. Chidi's usual cheerful demeanor seemed strained as he reached her stall. "Amara, I need to speak with you. It's important." Concern flickered in Amara's eyes. "What is it? Has something happened?" Chidi glanced around, ensuring no one was within earshot. "The elders," he said in a low voice. "They were meeting this morning. They're suspicious of you, Amara. They're planning to have someone watch you, to uncover your secrets." Amara's face paled, her hand unconsciously tightening around the mango she held. I see," she managed to say, her mind racing. "Thank you for telling me, Chidi." Chidi leaned in closer, his voice urgent. "Amara, I don't know what secrets you're keeping, and I won't ask. But please be careful. The elders, they can make life very difficult for those they distrust." Amara nodded, her eyes meeting Chidi's. In that moment, she felt a surge of gratitude for this young man who had shown her nothing but kindness since his return to Muri. "Thank you, Chidi. Your friendship, It means more to me than you know. As Chidi moved away, blending back into the crowd of market-goers, Amara's mind was in turmoil. The life she had so carefully built, the delicate balance between her two worlds, was now threatened. She knew she would have to be more cautious than ever. That night, as darkness fell over Muri, Amara lay awake in her hut, listening to the chirping of crickets and the distant calls of night birds. She was torn between her usual nightly journey to the underwater kingdom and the fear of being discovered. Finally, unable to resist the call of her true home, she slipped out of her hut and made her way to the river. Unknown to Amara, a figure lurked in the shadows, watching her every move. Namdi, the youngest of the elders, had taken it upon himself to begin the surveillance. His eyes widened in disbelief as he saw Amara approach the water's edge. Amara paused at the riverbank, her toes curling into the damp earth. She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, then stepped into the water. As the cool liquid enveloped her, the familiar tingling sensation spread through her body. In the blink of an eye, her legs fused into a shimmering tail, her transformation complete. Namdi stifled a gasp, his hand flying to his mouth. He watched, transfixed, as Amara dove beneath the surface, her tail flashing once in the moonlight, before disappearing into the depths. Shaking with a mixture of fear and excitement, Namdi scrambled back towards the village. He had to tell the others what he had seen. Amara, the quiet, mysterious girl who lived on the outskirts of their community, was a mermaid. As Namdi rushed to spread the news, Amara swam deeper into the river, unaware that her secret had been discovered. She made her way to the underwater palace, where her parents, King Oloda and Queen Adana, were waiting for her. Queen Adana embraced her daughter, but pulled back with a frown when she sensed Amara's distress. "What troubles you, my child?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. Amara sighed, sinking onto a coral bench. "The humans in Muri, they're growing suspicious of me. They plan to watch me, to uncover my secrets. I fear I may have to leave the village soon." King Olauda's brow furrowed. "Perhaps it is time, Amara. You have lived among them for many years. Maybe it is best to return to your true home permanently." But Amara shook her head. "No, father. I can't abandon them, especially not now. I've heard whispers in the market. The famine is coming. The crops are failing, and the villagers will soon face hunger. I need to find a way to help them." Queen Adana placed a comforting hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Your compassion does you credit, Amara. But remember, revealing your true nature to the humans could be dangerous. They fear what they do not understand." Amara nodded, determination settling over her features. "I understand the risks, Mother, but I cannot stand by and watch them suffer. There must be a way I can help without revealing myself." As Amara discussed potential plans with her parents back in Muri, word of her true nature was spreading like wildfire. Namdi had roused the other elders from their sleep, his words tumbling out in an excited rush as he recounted what he had witnessed. Obiora listened with growing alarm. "A mermaid!" he repeated, his voice heavy with disbelief and a tinge of fear. "Are you certain, Namdi?" Namdi nodded vigorously. "I saw it with my own eyes, Obiora. She walked into the river and transformed. Her legs became a fishtail." The elders exchanged worried glances. This was beyond anything they had imagined. Their suspicions had been justified, but the truth was far more fantastical and potentially dangerous than they had anticipated. "What should we do?" Ikena asked, his voice trembling slightly. "If she truly is a creature of the water, who knows what powers she might possess?" Obiora's face hardened. "We must protect our village. Tomorrow, we will confront Amara. If what Namdi says is true, we cannot allow such a being to live among us. She must be banished." As the elders plotted, and Amara planned with her underwater family, the village of Muri teetered on the brink of a revelation that would change everything. The collision of two worlds, the mundane and the magical, was imminent. And at the center of it all was Amara, a young woman caught between land and sea, between two families, and between her desire to help and her need to protect herself.
Write the word "continue" in the comment section if you want the next part, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. Kindly click the subscribe button, like, comment, and share this video. Watch out for more intriguing and eye-catching videos from your favorite YouTube channel.